Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that is absolutely crucial for any woodworking or construction project: preparing your wood. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Can't I just grab some lumber and start building? Well, you could, but if you want your project to last, look great, and be structurally sound, a little prep work goes a very long way. Skipping these steps is one of the biggest mistakes beginners make, leading to warping, cracking, and a finish that just doesn't pop. So, stick around because we're going to cover the essential methods that will take your builds from amateur to professional. First up, let's talk about the most fundamental step: acclimation. Wood is a natural material, and it breathes. It absorbs and releases moisture depending on its environment. When you bring wood from a lumber yard into your home or workshop, it needs time to adjust to the new temperature and humidity. This process is called acclimation. If you skip this, the wood might expand or contract after you've already cut and joined it, causing all sorts of problems. The general rule is to let your wood acclimate for at least 72 hours, but a week is even better. Just stack it in the room where it will live, with small spacers between the boards to allow for even air circulation on all sides. It's a simple step that requires a bit of patience, but it's the foundation for a stable, long-lasting project. Next, we need to get our lumber flat, straight, and square. Rarely does wood come perfectly milled from the store. This is where a few key tools come into play: the jointer and the planer. The process is often called milling to S4S, which means surfacing all four sides. You start with the jointer. Your first goal is to create one perfectly flat face on the board. Once you have that, you turn the board 90 degrees and run an adjacent edge over the jointer, making sure it's perfectly square to that first flat face. Now you have two perfectly milled surfaces to reference. From here, we move to the planer. With your flat face down, you run the board through the planer to make the opposite face perfectly parallel. Finally, you can use a table saw with your jointed edge against the fence to rip the final edge parallel to the other. This four-step process gives you a piece of wood that is truly square and ready for precise joinery. Now, what if you don't have a jointer and a planer? Don't worry, you're not out of luck. You can achieve similar results with hand tools or some clever jigs. A hand plane, like a jack plane or a jointer plane, is the traditional tool for flattening boards. It takes practice and a bit of elbow grease, but it's an incredibly rewarding skill to learn. You can also build a router sled. This is a simple jig that holds your router and allows you to slide it over the surface of a board, taking off thin layers until it's perfectly flat. For jointing an edge, a straight line rip jig for your table saw works wonders. There are tons of tutorials online for building these jigs, and they open up a world of possibilities for those on a budget. With our wood milled and ready, the final prep step before assembly is sanding. Sanding isn't just about making the wood feel smooth, it's about preparing the surface to accept a finish evenly. You'll want to start with a lower grit sandpaper, something like 80 or 120 grit, to remove any tool marks from the planer or saw. Then, you'll work your way up through the grit, say, to 150, then 180, and finally 220. The key is not to skip grits. Each successive grit removes the scratches left by the previous one. A random orbit sander makes this process much faster, but for detailed areas, nothing beats sanding by hand with a block. After sanding to your final grit, wipe the surface down with a tack cloth or a rag dampened with mineral spirits to remove all the fine dust. This ensures your stain or clear coat will go on beautifully without any dusty blemishes. So there you have it, the core methods for preparing wood before you build. Acclimate it to its environment, mill it flat and square, and sand it to perfection. Taking the time to do this prep work will pay off massively in the quality and longevity of your final project. It's the difference between something that looks homemade and something that looks professionally crafted. Thanks so much for watching today. If you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more woodworking tips and tricks. Let me know in the comments if you have any other wood prep methods you swear by. Until next time, happy building.